I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know.
This is either about to be the most incredible 4D chess move ever made by Marvel or one of the dumbest things they've ever done.
It's never been this. I don't think. I feel like this is going to be decisive. I have been looking at the comments and I've looked at some videos. I've talked to some of my nerd friends and like not all of them have given their opinion on it, but one is like they wanted Doctor Doom to be just evil war crime Doctor Doom. I'm not. I think Robert Downey Jr. is capable of that, but I was just like, can we just give another actor a chance? It's like,
Yeah.
what happened to Killian Murphy? I feel like Robert Downey Jr. took that person. Was like, fuck Killian Murphy. He had his shine in Oppenheimer. He took my shine. I'm gonna steal his shine, and then he took this role. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. My initial reaction was probably the same as like before the final boss Rock became a character, where like every time the Rock would show up, I'd be like, yeah,
Uh
let's fucking go. And then as soon as he'd open his mouth, I'd be like, ah, it's the fucking Rock. This guy sucks, man. Like, bring on somebody else. And so like my reaction to this was like it just natural, like, holy shit, RDJ is back. And then it was like the more like as soon as I started thinking about it, I'm like, wait,
RTJ's
what? Like,
back.
why are they why? Like, first of all, this feels like a huge panic move. And
Yes.
like part of me is really annoyed because I think it was like a year ago. And I know that they have to do this. Marvel denied that there was this big summit discussion about should we get Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. to just come back into the
Yes.
MCU. And they were like,
Yes.
no, we never talked about that. We would, no, 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 we're moving
Someone leaked
forward.
that
Like,
shit for sure.
that's in the past. Like, fuck, you guys are so full of shit. As soon as those reports came out, everybody knew it was true. Everybody knew they were fully panicking. And I feel disappointed that, like, and I saw one good point. I did see one good point about the casting of Doctor Doom. Only well, it's very contingent on how important Spider-Man is in these movies because of the dynamic between Peter Parker and Iron Man.
Hmm.
That is if they are indeed doing the Iron Man becomes Doctor Doom becomes Iron Man, whatever the fucking direction it goes. If they're doing that, and this is Tony Stark who's becoming Doctor Doom or whatever,
Mhm.
then maybe there is an interesting avenue to go. Maybe. But at the same time, this feels like they're going backwards.
A little
This
bit,
feels
yeah.
feels like
Yeah,
this
definitely.
like we're back to where we were, man. Like,
Because I was thinking
ah,
about it last night. I had some thoughts last night. Like as you said, is this multiverse and RDJ is Victor Von Doom, or is it, hey, like I had a thought of with Endgame and the time travel, like, oh, I secretly went ahead of time in the future to see that I'm gonna die, and then I made preparations so that I won't die and come back as a villain or some bullshit. But I don't know if you guys remember when RDJ was on Joe Rogan's podcast, he even said to RDJ, like, I see it as they do really crappy, lackluster Marvel films, and then you got to come back. Um,
Hmm.
and I don't want to say Joe Rogan kind of called it, but maybe he did kind of called it.
I think so.
yeah,
Like,
dude.
I don't like why, and I see the comments on Instagram and YouTube, like so many options in the whole pool of actors out there, and you're going back to RDJ as Doctor Doom this
They're
time.
panicked. They're
Also,
panicked.
they brought the Russo brothers back. Like how
Yeah.
does this come off? How does it like it's like
And then it
yeah,
makes me wonder, are they gonna give Anthony Mackie the boot and bring back Chris Evans, or
it's coming off that way. Or he's gonna be the fucking new Red Skull. That's what they're gonna fucking do, aren't they?
oh,
That's what they're gonna fucking do. He's gonna be the new Red
no.
Skull. He's gonna be de-aged. He's like it's
Oh
gonna
my
be.
God.
They gave him a serum because he got depressed because
Here's
he
my
lost his
Yeah.
problem.
wife.
'Cause I think we talked about briefly, we talked about the future of the MCU, and my fears about the future of the MCU is number one, who are we gonna see that we want to see? Like, I don't, after Thor: Love and Thunder, I don't know if I want to see Chris Hemsworth Thor coming back again. After what we saw with Endgame and how Captain America and Iron Man's, you know, career as a hero ended, I don't want to see. I don't know if I want to see RDJ, Iron Man, and Chris Evans, Captain America again, but they also have now the Red Hulk is going to be in the MCU. So are they going to one day
Yeah.
do Hulk versus Red Hulk, or are they going to do, because you have Hulk, Red Hulk, She Hulk, and Scar? Are they going to do Agents of Smash? Like
Hmm.
I don't. What are they doing? I don't know.
I I'm so confused, dude. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard now that I've had time to think about my like how I felt about all this. Just like
Hmm.
this feels like they they're out of ideas, which is weird because simultaneously they're not bringing back Iron Man. They're bringing back the guy who played him and casting him as somebody else. Except you are bringing back Iron Man. Most people, when they see Robert Downey
Hmm.
Jr., there's only one character they associate. This man has been in so many fucking movies. There's only one character that people associate Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans with. Like, for better or for worse, you did this. You made them play these characters for like 10 fucking years.
Yeah.
Nobody will be able to go into that movie and see Doctor Doom. Everyone will see Tony Stark playing Doctor Doom. So either this is Tony Stark who's going to be Doctor Doom now,
Hmm. Hmm.
which I think you almost have to do because we're going to be sitting there going, "Oh shit, it's Iron Man." Cuz it is Iron Man. It's the only fucking guy who's played
Especially
Iron
if
Man.
he does the same performance that he does as Iron Man, the same charisma, the same personality. It's like that's Tony Stark cosplaying as Doctor Doom. It's a nightmare
Well,
scenario,
okay.
whatever.
So I think like there is a chance like he can bring a charisma to it, but like it's like a sadistic charisma. Like, I'm not looking for Joker or anything. I'm looking for like even this it shouldn't happen because everything especially in the writing and a few times we've gotten him on screen, Victor Von Doom is a serious, maniacal, intelligent, like jokes are beneath him kind of human being, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't think he'll I don't know what to think. I'm just speculating at this point. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm a nobody, but like I'd like to think that the roles that he's done post Iron Man, we're not counting Doctor Doolittle, uh, that he when and Marvel took notice, Disney took notice, and like, would you come back to do a serious role? And I think he even came out tweeted afterwards. Is like, what do you what he was like basically like I like complex characters. Sorry. So like it gives me a little bit of shining hope. So like I'm more on the side that like, yeah, this is a lot. This is I don't know how I feel about this. We're regressing. I think we're going back. Give a different actor a chance.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like he is a fantastic actor. Yes, we know him as Tony Stark Iron Man, but he's also a guy who has been nominated before, even before the drugs, before the addictions, before the substance usage. And then there's also the actor post. Yes, he's mainly with Marvel, but he was great in Oppenheimer. I don't know if you saw Oppenheimer, but he was
I
really
haven't
good.
seen it.
That's okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
he was evil in
he
Oppenheimer. He
was
played a
evil.
pretty
He was
bad
he
person.
he was a
Uh,
he was a smart intellectual politician,
yeah,
which is even scarier if you think
two
about it.
timing,
You know,
backstabbing.
here
Yeah.
here's what I think is gonna happen with this Doctor Doom. What I'm looking for.
Oh boy,
I'm
I'm
looking for
ready.
the dude disguised as a dude is playing
All
another
right.
dude.
All right, I'm cutting that out too.
No, you're not.
um,
Like no, but
Yeah.
seriously though, like um it is it like a plan because they need more people to enjoy it, or they think people would actually get enjoyment out of this?
oh, yeah.
Why? And then I don't I don't
All
really
right.
have a lot of words for
Here,
it.
like my thought process here is that somewhere during because I think I saw a good argument, which was like, I mean, I do think that Jonathan Majors, like outside uh court cases and conviction and all that, I think that did pretty much push them over
Yes,
the edge of
100%.
changing the Kang stuff. But somebody did make a good point of like, Quantumania was so poorly received that there's a decent chance they started shifting their plans after that movie, like before the stuff about Jonathan Majors came out.
Right.
Which I think is viable because a lot of people consider that to be one of the worst MCU movies that there's been.
Mhm.
And so I could see them being like, maybe the Kang stuff is not a good idea. Maybe we do need like a better direction to go in. But so and to go with that now, like I'm thinking ahead to Deadpool 3, where they could have done a third Deadpool kind of doing his own thing situation, but instead they brought in not just a character that's super famous and well known, but they brought in the exact actor to play the character again,
Mhm.
which I think is probably a pretty big reason why the movie's going to make so much money.
Right.
So part of me feels like Marvel tried to create another, you know, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, like they tried to kind of pick these actors who either had some sort of issues in the past and had kind of been trying to get back on their feet, or hadn't really done much in like huge mainstream success, and now became like wildly famous. Same with Chris Hemsworth. So, like they picked a lot of actors and like propelled them
Mhm.
into like much bigger fame. Uh, and maybe they're kind of just thinking like, okay, that strategy isn't working anymore. Letitia Wright is not as famous or as, as we had hoped she would be at this point. Like, we're just gonna go back to the spend money to make money strategy, which is like we're gonna pay Hugh Jackman $100 million to come back because we're gonna make way more money, so it doesn't matter how much we pay him.
Mhm.
We're not gonna wait. We're not gonna save money on Killian Murphy. We're just gonna give Robert Downey Jr. $100 million so he comes back and everybody goes sees the movie because he's in it again. Like
You
I
know,
think maybe they've kind of started to
Right.
abandon this like, oh, let's make this actor that no one's really heard of into someone
They
super
could.
famous.
Yeah.
you know what's
As
crazy?
because they figure like, well, people, let's just play the hits, right? You go see
Mhm.
your favorite band. Frankie goes to see the Killers. If they don't play Mr. Brightside, you're asking for a refund. Like you want them to play the hits, and so maybe
Sure,
Marvel is
sure.
kind of going into this strategy of like, you know what, fuck it. This shit didn't work with all these new actors. No one really cared about Shang-Chi. Nobody cared about the Eternals. Fuck all that. We're gonna bring back the OGs, the people that we know can make us money. And even if it's going to annoy some people, they're going to go see the movie anyway. So who gives a shit? And this is their new strategy, which I think. Do you guys? There's a part of me that feels like they're kind of wasting Doctor Doom on an actor that already was in the MCU.
I mean, that's what
Do
we're
you
getting
feel
at
like
here.
they're wasting this character by not casting a new, fresh
Mm.
face?
I have two things, but go ahead. I know you've been
Yeah,
wanting to say.
so I want to say quickly, yes, I believe that they are wasting Doctor Doom with Robert Downey Jr. because as great as he is, as you already touched on, he did Iron Man for so long, and it wasn't even just in the Iron Man movies and the Avenger movies. He was in a Captain America movie, which I still think is a Avengers movie. Should have been called Avengers Civil War. But anyway, he was in a
Mhm.
Captain America movie. He was in a Spider-Man movie. Um, so I think they're wasting it. And also, it makes me wonder if they never casted the Fantastic Four before this announcement, would they then say, okay, we have RDJ as Doctor Doom. We're going to cast Chris Evans as a Human Torch again. We're going to cast,
Mm.
what's the guy's name?
Michael Chiklis.
Mark Ruffalo as the Thing. We're going to cast Scarlett Johansson as the Invisible Woman. And then Chris Hemsworth for Mr. Fantastic or
Said
something
Michael
like
Chiklis.
who's like if they didn't cast the Fantastic Four before this, would they have gone that route to bring the OGs back? And it's like, hey, different universe. No, fuck you. I'm tired of
Yeah.
the multiverse thing, and I think number one, I never agreed with the Kang thing. I always thought like, why Kang? Whatever. Um, and I want to see Doctor Doom and what he can do, but n- who it could have been anyone else, anybody else.
Yeah, what's funny about Doctor Doom, which I think is almost the opposite of Thanos, which was
Mhm.
previously like not that big of a Marvel villain, at least from what I'm aware of in the comics. Thanos wasn't like ever this huge threat that they turned him into, where they built what, like 25 movies around this guy showing up.
Uh.
Doctor Doom has always been like
Oh yeah.
a fucking world destroying psychopath. Like I mean, that's he's always had this aura about him, and I think like with Thanos, you almost did need a bunch of movies to build this guy up because a lot of people, when he showed up at the end of the first Avengers movie, was like, "Who's this big purple guy at the end? I've
Yeah.
never heard of this guy before." Um, Doctor Doom, I think that more people would be just excited that the character is coming to the MCU. So it kind of feels like you're wasting the RDJ cameo or not cameo, but like, you're wasting bringing him back because people, I think, would have been excited enough for the character in the first place. I don't think it
So
really
It's
was.
tough to say. It's tough to say
Yeah.
because we've had how many times of a Fantastic Four done? Twice right now, 3 times maybe. Like we had 2 movies with Fox. Oh, sorry, excuse me, 2 sequels with Fox and 1 reboot with Fox.
Right, right.
So it's tough to say because like at this point you would be nervous, and of course once we heard Fantastic Four were coming in, and once we knew, not excuse me, even before that, when they bought the rights to Fox and they got that, and we knew now officially Fantastic Four and X-Men were coming to the MCU, everyone was hella nervous of how Doom was going to come off. We don't
Yeah.
know what they were going to do for Doom. Like,
I had a Doom idea. I didn't mean to cut you off, Frankie. I just had a
sure,
quick side note of who could have casted him.
okay,
So I was gonna say with X-Men kind of, you know, Fox X-Men may not exist in the future when if they make a new X-Men. How would
mhm.
you feel if like Michael Fassbender was casted as Doom?
Well, everyone was talking about that. That was the top. That was the fan
'Cause he
cast, and
kind of,
I didn't mind.
yeah, that
I
seems
didn't
good to
mind if he
me.
did that, but I also wanted him to just return as
Magneto.
Magneto.
True.
That's everyone's favorite. One of everyone's favorites, Magneto, especially the young version, because there's only been one young version. Um, so I get it. I try not to dwell on it because I also wanted someone new. I would have preferred
Mm-hmm.
someone new. I there's a bunch of actors. It could have been Henry Cavill. That was another fan cast. Like that would have been
True.
great.
Mm.
He's
Oh,
Because
fucking.
with
Doom is
That's the other
supposed to
thing.
the
be
arm load up too.
supposed to be Jack. Yeah.
Yeah, he Doctor Victor Von Doom's also very handsome. He's supposed to be very handsome. Henry Cavill's a handsome man. Like it could have been him, and he could play an asshole. But obviously, we've never seen him be a meticulous asshole, Henry Cavill. But
Right.
besides that, like I think what this adds to, this is one of my bigger points. If this is Tony Stark became who he was brought back to life by the Lazarus pit. If you get that joke, you're
Right,
cool.
right.
But like,
Right.
So like this is not Victor Von Doom,
Mm-hmm.
essentially.
like this isn't Victor Von Doom. It is Tony Stark
It's
brought
PC on
back,
time.
and then this it adds a level of uh of hurt to
Mm-hmm.
the viewers. In fact, it hurts now seeing him play the bad guy because we see the face and like that's not Robert Downey Jr. That's Tony Stark, and
Right.
he's a
He
bad
saved the
guy now.
world. He
He saved the
saved the
world. And
world.
like and now like you see the memes and everything, but like literally like you live long, you either live long to yourself to
Right.
be a hero,
You die a hero or
or
live
you
long
live
enough
long
to
to be the
become the
villain.
And he
villain.
did both. He
And he did
died a
both.
hero and he
That
came
makes
back
him
as a
kind of a
villain.
G. And that makes
Which
him a
is
G in a
why
way.
he's the dude disguised as a dude playing another
Shut
dude.
up. We don't talk about that movie. No, we do talk
But
about it.
and it's funny because even like when we didn't talk about it in the Deadpool episode, but there was the joke about the hierarchy of Marvel was about to change type of thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they really lined that
so
up perfectly
yeah, and like
for
with
this
this, it's
weekend.
like because isn't aren't they doing the Fantastic Four is going to take place in like what, the 80s, I think they said, or
I no 60s.
60s?
You were way
60s?
off. Like 60s, because
Hey
like
man,
given
before
like
2000s, I don't give a shit.
look, the way it was set up, it gave a very old-fashioned school vibe. I called it immediately. I mean, if you have an eye for this stuff, you can call it, and that's what and it came out that is going to take
Right.
place in the
So
past.
why
There is
not?
a there is a Fantastic Four trailer floating around out
Yeah, I
there.
saw it.
Well then,
Okay, so look,
why not do like a
I wanna
Howard Stark
quickly do
then?
this. I want to quickly do this real quick. So, because we said fuck the Fantastic Four, I will be on the defense. We started as fuck the Fantastic Four. I'm gonna put more into this than I should. I'm a little bit excited after watching that trailer because even from the grainy fucking footage that I saw from the camera being recorded
Yeah.
or on a big screen, it is shot very well. It's just given that like I feel
Sure.
like what they're giving me is what they're showing me is what they're gonna give me, and
Yeah.
I like the casting. I like most of them. I am a little Pedro Pascal, tired. I'm a little bit, of him. As much as I love my Latin actors, like I could use a younger read or different read. But watching that trailer, it I I think because they're doing this instead of doing it modern, it's helping them. It's gonna help them, and I did like that they were like a family, but in a different time zone, a different era, and it
Yeah.
works. So, given watching the trailer, I'm just like, this feels different. It feels right. It feels what it's supposed
Right.
to. It is also Marvel's first team hero, and it's one of Jack Kirby's and uh um Stan Lee's babies. You know, it was the comic that started putting comics back on the map, and it's part of the golden age era of comics. And so watching the trailer, I'm like, who is directing this? So I had to do a little deep dive, and it's Matt. I couldn't remember, and it's Matt Shackman. Matt Shackman directed WandaVision. A few of his. Actually, he directed all 9 episodes of WandaVision. So I forgot about that. So that's good. I thought that was good, and then I just looked a little bit deeper. This man has done a lot of cool shit. He did Monarch Legacy of Monsters. He did 2 episodes. He did all 9 episodes of WandaVision, or I can't remember. There was more episodes. He did some episodes of Succession. He did episode of The Boys, uh, episode of Billions. Did an episode of Game of Thrones, and a lot of this stuff that he directed on IMDb, which is all fan and audience based ratings. He's scoring very high, so he has a vision. And 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 if it's anything to what WandaVision was, and some shots that he did, some episodes he did in Game of Thrones, then I'm excited. And just given from the trailer, which I encourage you guys to watch, and it ends with a sneak peek of a main villain, another villain, not Doctor Doom. Uh, then I'm excited.
You talking about
I
Galactus,
shouldn't be.
right?
Yeah, I shouldn't be excited. I don't want to be excited because I don't want to be excited for Marvel movies. I was barely excited for X-Men, for Wolverine and Deadpool, but I had to be after watching some of the trailers. Um, but what they're giving, I think, is now giving me hope that they are listening and they're going for more story-oriented uh films. Deadpool Wolverine was, it had a story, but it wasn't its strong suit. It was more of its cinematography. It's just really its acting and just given the overall vibe of a superhero movie. Was that a superhero movie with an R-rated tag? Hell yeah, it was. Is this going to be a PG-13 movie that should be more focused on like sci-fi science? That's what I got, and that's what that's why I'm excited. It's like it doesn't feel like a Marvel movie. If you remove Fantastic Four from that trailer, it feels like just like a science space movie from the '60s, like almost like and I think this is what they're going for, like Lost in Space. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that show. It's an old classic show, uh, rebooted a bunch of times, different films, and rebooted on Netflix as a miniseries. Was really good show. So it's giving those cool science fiction classic vibes of like the 60s, 70s, and 80s, the stuff that pretty much inspired sci-fi movies and heroes and stuff. So that's why I'm a little bit more excited after watching that trailer, and I feel like the director in charge of it is the right person. And also, that's another issue at hand is like we brought the Russo brothers back. Can we give other directors a chance? You know, even though I do trust the Russo brothers after what they gave us, but like I would also like
See,
to see other directors and
here's what the
writers.
story would be. It's he's RDJ is playing he's playing Howard Stark, who faked his death, and he's pissed off that Iron Man died against the Thanos fight, so he's coming back as a villain to kick ass. Just a little joke that I want to throw in. But in the serious note, it's I I am very, as most people probably are, very skeptical of Fantastic Four.
Sure,
I am tired of Pedro Pascal getting like I I loved him as
fatigue.
Mandalorian,
It's fatigue.
and yeah, fatigue, because I didn't agree with him in The Last of Us as Joel, honestly. I the Wonder Woman movie was terrible. I didn't see anything else that he's done lately. But um I I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, Fantastic Four actually has a lot of great, you know, comic books and stories. It's just the movies have been so terrible." So this is what their third attempt of Fantastic Four, and I think in the past, MCU had this like quality of it where it's like, oh, you're in the MCU, so it's gonna be great. And now it's at a point where you're in the MCU, it's 40%, 35 to 40% great, and then remaining not so great is just a gamble. It could be a great project, it could be a shitty project.
Mhm.
But as you said, you saw how you saw some clips of the trailer, you did your research on the director. So that does add a bit more hope to it.
Yeah.
I just have concerns of what are we getting in the future of Marvel? Are we gonna get a black suit Tom Holland? Are we gonna see Venom and Spider-Man fighting? Are we gonna see Chris Evans come back? And do we want that? Are we gonna see Chris Hemsworth back again? Well, he is set to come back for Thor again. But
Yeah.
even when you do the Disney Plus shows, like I didn't watch all of them. I didn't finish season 2 of What If and stuff like that. So,
Mhm.
as you guys said, it's quantity over quality, and this news of RDJ is just so bizarre and crazy. Just I don't see like number one, how much are they paying him? That's one thing.
Too much.
'Cause
More than what originally
he
probably.
made more than Tom Holland in Tom Holland's movie. um, and he was barely in it.
Yeah.
And then as you said, Chris Evans being the Red Skull, the new Red Skull, or whatever, which is hilarious.
It's hilarious, but it's probably
Yeah,
it's
it's
probably a thought that's out there.
if that happens, right? If let's say either of the other Avengers get recasted as a different character and come back, especially if it's Chris Evans as Red Skull, I think at that point I am completely done with the MCU. Like I still like some of the movies. I didn't bother with the last Captain Marvel. And I did love the Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine, and I do love some of the Spider-Man movies, not so much the last one, but if they do that casting thing, I'm gonna be done completely, honestly. Unless Galactus, brings me back in, and if we
Mm.
get Silver Surfer again, which I don't know if they would or whatever.
Oh, by the way, they also I think they swapped the genders for Silver Surfer. I think she's a girl now. So that's gonna
Oh, that's gonna
ruffle some
be
feathers.
one.
That's gonna ruffle
Yeah,
some feathers.
I know a
Per
guy out
usual.
here who complains about
Neckbeards.
stuff like that. Yeah, yep, they
Neckbeards.
complains about that, and I'm like, dude, come on.
All of those people who are suddenly diehard Silver Surfer fans. You can't recast Silver Surfer. Like, okay.
He
Like,
needs to have a metal
yeah.
dick.
Like, oh,
That
are
was
they
a
changing
big
his
part of the second
surfboard for
movie.
like some
Basically.
space skis or something? Like,
Yeah. Uh
yeah.
it's a weird time to be a Marvel fan. You're either really excited, really confused right now, or you're just not happy. And
Yeah.
typically the ones that are not happy are the incels ones.
I think though, like I think I just feel this the RDJ stuff made me feel tired. Like Deadpool, I think one of the things I liked about it, even though there was a little inconsistency towards the end where it's like the some of the cameos, you don't really find out what happened to them, except for
Hmm.
one. I guess the rest of them are just whatever. But there's just a part of me that's like, I don't know. I guess we're just going in a circle now.
Yeah.
That's just we're bringing back the OG Avenger, and we're bringing back the guys who did a couple of the movies,
Bring
and
back Eric Bana.
yeah, I think I don't know. It would have been cool to see someone new. I get why they are kind of like. I wouldn't be surprised if Feige was kind of like, yeah, we're not taking chances anymore. So
Yeah.
we're gonna just cast the people that people know and love, and we're gonna put them in whatever role we want to, because you're gonna go see the movie anyway. Um, but yeah, I think I don't know the way Deadpool handled stuff. It was kind of like fun, like, oh, look at this character that you haven't seen in a long time, and this is the only time you'll see them. Uh, but now it's like, no, just kidding, because like we are actually gonna bring back these actors till they're 90 and force them to make movies for us. And like, yeah, I don't know. Killian Murphy would might have been a cool Mr. Fantastic, but we
I
got
agree.
Pedro Pascal for some reason. I don't know, other than the fact that he's just really hot right now. So that's, trying to capitalize on that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I went from excited or like excited, confused to like confused and annoyed.
Even
So
my
it
brother texted me on
came
Instagram
off a
showing me
high.
the post, and he's like, he's upset too. He's like confused, and I'm like, damn. Like it was late at night, and my brother was hitting me up about it, and I was like, wow, we got a lot of stuff to catch up on this
Okay.
comment stuff,
Yeah.
Comic-Con stuff.
Last thing, I guess, really, is what if this is just a troll job? Because again, like they didn't let stuff leak for Deadpool and Wolverine unless they wanted it to leak. So
Then this is an absolute. Then Kevin Feige needs to be fired. Like he needs to
if
step
like
down.
if they did this just to troll the fans, like
Yeah,
what
no,
if like he
then
he
that's
appears he
You
appears and then gets
know,
immediately killed and then the real Doom like
right?
pops up?
Hot
no,
take is
that
that I
that's
felt Feige should have been fired after She-Hulk. That's just my hot take.
that's a terrible hot take, but I get it. Fine, whatever. Me and Chris love
I like,
She-Hulk.
yeah, there are a lot of times when Feige probably, I don't even, he doesn't need to be fired. He just needs to fucking give some of his power to a few other people to help make decisions. But
Give it to an actual nerd.
yeah,
Like
I
Ryan
don't,
Reynolds. Haha.
Haha.
you
Check
know
out
what
our last episode.
I'm curious about now, because like everybody who's at Comic-Con is obviously hyped for literally anything. Like,
Yeah,
it doesn't really matter what you do.
sure.
Um, but I'm kind of curious now, like Marvel's put themselves in a position where they have to explain why this person is Doctor Doom. They can't just not explain it. Like
Mm-hmm.
you've cast Iron Man. Now you have to give all the fans an explanation. Why is this person playing Doctor Doom? And are we just pretending that they never played Iron Man? Is everyone in the movie just gonna never? This is Victor Von Doom. This is not the fucking guy who played Tony Stark for 15 years. It's a totally different person.
Yeah.
You put yourselves in a position where you have to explain this now. You can't just not like give us an explanation as to why this is happening, which I think just kind of furthers the point of like you should have cast somebody else. You should have just cast someone who
Yeah.
was Victor Von Doom, because now part of the movie is going to be spent needing to explain why Tony Stark, Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. is playing this character.
I
See, I
mean,
would
it's
have
possible.
said,
It's not that fat. It doesn't have to need a whole exposition. It
mhm.
could just be like something
Because I
like
would have said,
few minutes.
given that this guy jumps from different pop culture movies, that they could have casted possibly Oscar Isaac, but he already did Moon Knight. But again,
Yeah,
I guess they don't give a shit about who they played previously because we
apparently
can just
not.
reuse them as someone new in another project, even though it's in the same
Mm-hmm.
thing. But
Same
uh,
universe. This is not a
yeah,
different
because
MCU.
I was gonna ask that question. I forgot if I read last night if it whether or not it was gonna be same universe or different universe, or I just dreamt it last night because I had some really wild dreams last night, but
I
wasn't
think it's
sure if it was part of it.
like DC has like their Elseworld stuff, which is where like Joker and the Batman movies exist. It's all just one giant MCU. It doesn't matter how many fucking universes they have. Like it's all just the MCU. So this is still the guy that played Iron Man. Like this is not a separate, oh, this is like an alternative whatever story in our different MCU. Like no, it's all just one giant,
Yeah,
collection of these movies. They all exist within the same, even though there's like 1,000 different timelines, it's all within the same one giant timeline.
because
Like,
like if not RDJ, it could have also been Benedict Cumberbatch. Like, oh, no more Doctor Strange, he's now Doctor Doom.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
like or even I mean I see it if it was down to three people, I say less likely would be Mark Ruffalo and then RDJ for second as Dr. Doom and then Benedict as number one for Dr. Doom, but ultimately just cast somebody else.
Just cast someone
Yeah.
handsome. I'm being a beautician over here. I'm
Because
being
isn't
I'm
Dr.
being
Doom also
critical.
supposed to be like a really attractive man too? Like
That's what
I
he
mean
Yeah,
they
said.
all
supposed to
are.
be
They
I
all
literally
are.
just
fucking
said that, damn
Yeah,
it.
right.
jacked.
Yeah,
He
so I'm
said
just
that like 20
confirming.
minutes ago.
Yeah,
That's why I said that
like
about Henry Cavill.
yeah. So
Yeah. So I think
um
just my last point is like seeing everybody's reactions, which I think I maybe incorrectly assumed would be overwhelmingly hyped and positive. And now just scrolling like a few of the people that I follow on TikTok who talk about like superheroes and stuff, I've either seen the hot take of like I'm done with the MCU. This is one of the dumbest things I've ever done, without even seeing the movie. They're just like
Hmm.
just this announcement has pissed people off, and people just being like us, where we're like, I'm not out, but I'm very confused, and
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the reaction they wanted. I think they were probably hoping for overwhelming, like, let's fucking go. RDJ is back,
I
baby.
mean, at Hall H, they were definitely like that, but I think
Yes.
once they left Hall H, they're like, "What the fuck?"
Right. And like
That's my assumption.
those are the ultra diehards. Like you fucking went to San Diego, you went to the panel, like you are the ultimate diehard fan.
Yeah.
Everybody else on the outside, I think we're kind of in this position of like, ah, we were excited to see the person, but the place you cast them in is kind of confusing, and I don't understand why this is happening. Yeah, maybe that's not really what they wanted, uh, but it's hard to not feel that way.
But I guess that's gonna do it for now. Podcasting peeps. We miss you. We're back. I got married again.
Yeah, same
Chris
person.
moved.
But...
Yeah, same person. It's my second marriage actually. It's my third.
second round.
Uh, but life's been busy. But we're hoping to come out and keep putting good
Everybody's moving to
content.
new places or having big life changing experiences.
Yeah,
And
yeah. No, I hope everyone out there who listens to us, we thank you, and hopefully you didn't miss us too much, and hopefully you come back to listen to us. Whoever's out there, please
Yeah,
come
those
back.
6 people that unsubscribed while we were gone, please
Ah,
come back.
damn.
We were really close to 350, and now we're back down to 343.
No, really? Damn.
Yeah,
That's all right.
all right,
Well,
they'll be back.
we'll win them back. But thank you so much for listening, guys. We are back. We're gonna try to be consistent again, but life is done lifing for now. For now, but we'll get back on it. But thank you so much for listening. We'll catch you in the next one, peeps. Peace.
Peace.